I was such a fool, Monarch. Shane tricked me. I was careless. I should have never let him get close to me. He knew my weakness and exploited it. He made me so happy to see him again, I thought I was finally ready. Will you have a seat with me, Monarch? I guess I should tell you the truth of what happened. From the sidelines, I must have looked incompetent. I mean, I'm trained in combat, you know. I should have been able to avoid Shane's dagger with ease. It's what they're all thinking, even if they don't say anything. Back during the occupation, my parents were killed. I saw them murder my father with no hesitation. Blood. Everywhere. After that, my mother took my hand and tried to find us some shelter. We didn't make it very far. We saw all the bodies in the town square, mountains of them. The ground was full of blood, almost like an ocean. If you look closely, you can still see some of the stains, even today. My mother made a judgment call and did something risky. What's the one place they would never look for survivors? That's right, amongst the corpses, covered and crushed by them. I was crying, but she helped me get underneath a bunch of bodies. She played dead and lay on the outside, holding my hand as tight as she could. I remember how she kept telling me that everything would be okay. That soft whisper. She didn't make it very long. They found her and stabbed her over and over. I felt her wince every time. The grip of my hand got tighter and tighter. Then, after a while, it just let go. I got to feel her final moments. The voice telling me that everything would be okay soon went silent. I was left there, under a pile of bodies, covered in blood. The last embrace I remember, the last time I held a hand. It's not something I could ever do again, it just reminds me of that day. Now you understand how Shane made me freeze in fear and surprise. He was the only other person I told this to. He used that to trick me. And he would have killed me too, if it wasn't for you and Howl. I was finally ready to get close to somebody again. And then this happens. That's how I know Shane wasn't just acting. He played dirty, and he wanted me dead. There was so much running through my mind the moment he stabbed me. I thought perhaps he was trying to win over the triumvirate so he could get more intel. But then he stabbed me again, and again. I knew that the man I once knew was gone. They did something to him while he was imprisoned. They won him over. I don't know how they did it, but they turned him into a completely different person. We must never let another one of our allies fall under their thrall. Never. Sorry for dropping all of that on you, Monarch. I just needed to tell somebody. It was eating away at me. And I trust you. I know you'd never do anything like Shane did. Well, I guess that's enough to kill any conversation. Like I said, I'm sorry for dropping all of that on you. Anything else you need to say to me while you can? I'm sorry, Monarch. I'm just not ready. means a lot, though. It really does. I just have to put this barrier up for my own benefit. I don't want to hurt you either, if that makes any sense. This is war. I almost died back in the Rebel HQ. If I did, can you imagine the pain you would feel? Getting close at a time like this could be disastrous. Well, shall we call it then? I think this is as good a time as any. Let that new information process for a while. When it comes to my past, that's about it. From now on, we can look to the future. I hope it's just as bright as I picture it.
Monarch. We're still conflicted. These thoughts won't go away. Visions of needless violence and senseless destruction. You may tell us that they aren't real, but we're unsure. The emotions that well up within us are far too real. Is it possible for fake events to elicit real emotions? Or are we perhaps hearing echoes of the past? Let us phrase it differently. You know visions, yes? The monarchy used them to guide us to the best possible future. How can you know that best possible future without trial and error? There would still be many futures left unseen, and many pasts avoided. Knowing one true course of action requires disregarding millions of wrong ones. What if we are simply seeing these many avenues, almost like our visions have evolved? If not evolved, then perhaps gotten muddled. Rather than see the one important future, we see everything. We do not know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, Monarch. If this is true, then we exist unbound from time, a string in a labyrinth with no one holding the other side, no one to tug, no one to guide us in the right direction. No one, of course, except for you. Our visions may be useless at the moment, but are yours. We would recommend that you try inducing a vision, Monarch. Not right now, of course, but in your own time. However, when you do, we would request a favor. If you see the future, embrace it, but also look into the past. The future you see blossoms from choice and consequence. Look back at those choices made, and conjure up the choices unmade. The loss, the heartbreak, the death. Maybe then you will know what pains us. There is only one thing that remains constant throughout these visions. Yourself, the blade of Exodus, and the death it feeds off of. There is something self-serving about all three of these things. You always have that blade, and the people around you always die. When they do, it's almost like that makes the blade more powerful. It's like there's an essence released from our bodies when we pass on. But is that the essence of life? Or the essence of death? Perhaps that is a choice the wielder of the blade must make. What do you think, Monarch? Is that energy life? Or is it death? An interesting thought, to say the least. If it's up to the wielder, at least we know where you stand. That blade is such a mysterious thing, and it grows ever stronger. We wonder if you possess this ability as well, to see the past, even when you stand in the present. Is that a curse meant only for us, or a gift to be further honed? It eludes our understanding, and we wish to know for sure. When we come back to the mainland, please return to Valinor. Close your eyes, concentrate on the past, and talk to your comrades. Do they speak as they do now, or as they did back then? We think that this answer will be very enlightening for us, and if it is, then maybe you can understand our plight. How do we know where we are if our surroundings fluctuate? What if we already had this conversation, and this is but an echo? Perhaps we reside at the end of time, simply witnessing our demise. Sorry, we must appear insane. It's just hard, not being grounded in the present. The one downside of visions, being lost in time. Dreaming of that brighter future, and ignoring the present, looking back on the past, and focusing on our mistakes. We experience this tenfold, even mistakes we did not make. When we see your death, we feel pain, a pain worse than death, the loss of hope. That blade falls to the ground, coated in your blood. Comrades scream in agony as they befall the same fate. Then why do we stand there, only capable of watching? We wish to help you avoid this fate. That is our duty. We apologize for the lack of sense, Monarch. Your time is more valuable than that, limited as it is. Perhaps next time, we will make more sense of everything. But try not to forget our advice and our requests. We know there is a purpose for all of this. There must be. Together, we will find it, rather than stand here and complain.
Hey there, Monarch. There's something that's been driving me insane. You know how we were all freaking out about Valinor? Without the heat from the spirits, it'd freeze over and die. I mean, we believed it, but right now, it doesn't make any sense. The spirit realm is a prison, right? Nothing mystical or beneficial. It matches up with what people outside of Valinor were saying. We were just superstitious and lived in a unique location. The monarchy gave us visions, and nothing more. We'll have to ask Howl the moment we get the chance. If it's like I think it is, then Valinor will be fine. No risk at all. As hard as these truths are to believe, they do have their benefits. At least it'll make Valessa's job as Elder a lot easier. The one major problem she had to take care of, completely eliminated. I know it's stupid to say this now, but it seems like one last gift from the spirits. Let's just hope we get lucky like that in Alarinthia. Securing an alliance with barbarians sounds super difficult. They're stubborn in their tradition, just like Valinor is known to be. But their tradition isn't steeped in the spirits like ours was. At the end of the day, will they even care about any of this? They almost live a world away, untouched by our problems. No point worrying about things out of our control, right? Maybe we should talk about something we do have power over. Remember that climbing gear Pro gave me money for? Well, check it out. They're adjustable, so you can wear them no matter what. You don't need to look for a foothold anymore. You can make them yourself. As long as you're strong enough, there's nothing you can't climb, Monarch. I know what I'm doing as soon as we get back. I'm heading to Valinor and climbing the Grand Tree. I want you to join me. It'll be a good place for you to learn. I know what you're thinking, though. Why would I learn to climb on something so difficult? Well, you have gear now. I never did. It's a huge advantage. The only thing holding you back will be your energy. But with everything we've been through, this should be simple. I think it'll only take a few hours to climb, if I'm totally honest. I'll bring us a backpack with a bunch of water. Or maybe we should split that over 2 backpacks. Don't want to make one of us carry too much weight. Anyway, it'll be nice to make some history together. Not many people can say they've been to the top of the Grand Tree. Maybe we'll start a trend, a sort of coming-of-age thing, you know? I know there's so much danger in our future, but there's happiness too, you know? Lots to look forward to in the end. Besides, I doubt I'll be key to our Alarinthian alliance, so in the meantime, there's not really anything else I can do. I've been practicing my climbing on the netting of the ship. People are worried that I'll fall off, but I tell them not to worry. It's very rare that I fall off, and I usually shake it off pretty quickly. I saw some of them get together and make some betting pools. It's a pretty boring voyage, so they make their own entertainment. I suddenly start to know why pirates enjoy fighting and gambling so much. When you're out at sea, there's just nothing much to do. It's pretty crazy. I'd go insane if I were a pirate. I just know it. After this war, I think I want to settle down on the mainland. Sailing isn't for me. I can say that with absolute certainty. Sorry for rambling on, but yeah, there's nothing else to do. I bet the other people will be able to keep your interest longer. But before you go, I have just one question to ask you. Do we make it to the top, or do we fail? What's your bet, Monarch? And no refusing. We're on a pirate ship, so we need to act like pirates. Optimism? I love it! The other pirates didn't share that trait. They seem to actually look forward to failure. Though I guess that would be fun to watch. Can you imagine if I fell on the netting into the sea? They'd probably stand by and laugh rather than help. I guess we can figure that out when the time comes. Which, as I'm starting to realize, is pretty darn soon. Think of some ideas in your off time, alright? We'll announce the terms before we climb.
Hey there, Monarch. As you can see, I'm getting ready for combat. I give it 2 days before we are dragged into conflict. They don't use words to resolve things in Alarinthia. It's always a duel or a tournament. That's all they do. When we are there, we might as well speak their language. Gotta make the most of a bad situation, right? I'll get to give my sword arm a real challenge. What about you, Monarch? Excited for this? Glad to hear. I like that in a partner. Making change together. Now that's amazing. Not everybody would be so brave, you know. It's almost overwhelming to think about, actually. I have the support of the Monarch of Valessa. There's almost nothing we can't accomplish now. But I'm guessing you didn't come down here for a lecture. Have a seat. There's something I'd like to talk to you about. I don't want to scare you, and I'm not really hiding anything. But we're about to go to my homeland. You might hear things. Can you promise me something, Monarch? No matter what happens? Remember me for the things I've done for you and the rebellion. No matter what you hear about me or my past, please, don't judge me. I wouldn't judge you based on your past, so I expect the same from you. Good. Then that's pretty much everything I had to say. I was really worried. I wasn't sure how to handle that topic. So rather than overthinking it, I just shot straight. Thank you. It was especially hard since we're kind of involved now. Is that the right word for what we are? I don't really know. After what we did back in Mazeo, I think it's a safe term. I don't want to complicate things, so I'll just be quiet. But don't think I've forgotten about what happened. If we get the time, I'd like for it to happen again. But I doubt we'll be able to do that on this ship. You can't even breathe without someone else hearing it. I have my ways of keeping quiet, but I wouldn't want to get caught. Sorry I didn't have much to say. I guess I'm a little shy. But it'll all make sense in time. I can promise you that. When that time comes, you need to keep your promise.
You know, for once I thought things were going well. We had an army, and it seemed like our objective was clear, but they outsmarted us. They caught us off guard. We were careless. They always say to be cautious if things are going too well, especially in war. We got blinded by the victory we thought we secured. Nobody thought to question our course of action, or Damek's orders. And I'm supposed to be the next elder of Alarinthia. For the safety of our nation, I need to be better than this. I need to plan for every course of action, however unlikely. I just wish things could be clear, like they used to be. If things were difficult, our future was certain. We don't even know if we can secure this alliance. I want to believe you, but I'm just not sure. We thought things would work out back at the Rebel HQ. Look how that turned out, Monarch. We were reckless. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't share those thoughts. It's important to take a step back and look at the big picture. That way, you don't get blinded and act based on your ego. I was so lost in thought, I couldn't sleep last night. I decided to help Alex prepare the ship for our voyage. We got to talking, and he told me something shocking. I'm not even sure if I should tell you this, Monarch, but I guess it's something you deserve to know. Remember how those people recognized us? They recognized us too. Immediately. I assumed it's because they knew our parents. But then they told me how they knew them. Our parents were pirates, Monarch. Feared, hated, legendary pirates. Sure explains their trips to Mazeo. At first I didn't believe it. I was lost in denial, but he kept telling me more, and I had to accept it. I always pictured our parents as these perfect, untarnished people. But they were killers. They broke the law. They pillaged. They were part of the reason the Triumvirate launched the occupation. I know what you're going to say. They wanted the idol. Piracy was a cover. And while you may be right, the excuse was still valid. At the end of the day, piracy was running rampant throughout Mazeo. Our parents played a part in giving them this perfect excuse. Don't you see? And in doing so, they are partly responsible for all of those deaths. We always thought they were innocent victims, but were they really? Honestly, I doubt I'll be doing much sleep tonight either, Monarch. Let's sum it up, shall we? There's no more spirit realm. Our belief system was shattered. Almost the entire rebellion was killed in action. We were tricked. And to top it all off, I'm the daughter of some ruthless pirate killers. How am I supposed to process all of this? How will you? Your parents, my parents, Fortune's parents, all 6 of them. They're not the people we thought they were. What do we do? I'm just so lost, Monarch.
Hey there, Monarch. Perfect timing, actually. I wanted to talk to you. I thought we could get to know each other a little better. Unfortunately, our time was cut short back at the Rebel HQ. But this is a long voyage, with no need to cut any corners. So, wanna have a seat? We can get things started. The candles are supposed to be relaxing. Something about aromatherapy. I never really looked into it, but I'm scared of water, so I needed help. You should tell me about yourself, Monarch. And this is because I'm genuinely interested, I swear. Whatever you tell me, I'll never write down in any books. That's what friends do, right? Confide in each other? I know I always talk about writing books and conducting interviews, but the truth is, this time, I want to keep things between the two of us. Never everyone always treats me with such apprehension, you know? Like, anything they tell me, I'll turn around and use it against them. That is a part of my business, but it's not like I want to do things that way. I hope people don't treat me that way after the war is over. I'm quitting this swindler's life as soon as I get the chance. I'll still write, but I won't use information as a weapon. Ever. Instead, I'll use it to help those in need. You know, I've done it before, and it feels good. Information can either be a sharp knife or a warm embrace. Weird metaphor, I know. But like I said, I'm no fiction writer. I prefer to focus on stuff that's real, like people and their actions. They ripple outwards, affecting people in ways they'd never know. Of course, that's something that applies to normal people. There's nothing normal about you, Monarch. No offense, of course. You're going to be in charge of the entire world after this war is over. Can I tell you a little secret? Maybe it'll make you see things differently. You know, so you won't picture me as a bad person. I can tell that a lot of people do, even if they don't say it. But all I'm doing is helping Damek win this war in the best way I can. It's not my fault I'm like this. All I can do is play with the hand I've been dealt. There was this little boy who got abandoned by his parents. He didn't know why, and that hurt him so much. Maybe they just didn't want him. But why? What did he ever do to them? It made no sense, and he hated that. He had to grow up on the streets, living on the scraps that other people threw away. It wasn't just his parents, you know. It almost seemed like nobody wanted him at all. That just made things worse. Can you imagine feeling unwanted by the world? He started to pick up on people's secrets. You know, just little things. After a while, he found out that people would pay anything to learn these secrets. As a teenager, he used this ability to live a luxurious life of gluttony and sloth. He knew secrets that could topple cities or destroy people's relationships. But none of that gave him satisfaction, because there was one thing he never knew. Why his parents abandoned him. Why they didn't want him. Did he deserve it? It was too humiliating to admit, so he made up another story. His parents died during the occupation. That was much less embarrassing. Everybody believed him, and that helped him fit in with a new group of people. This new group of people, the rebellion, wanted to use his skills for good. They accepted him with open arms, which is something nobody had ever done before. He knew he found his place in the world, and since then, he served his new family. He keeps prodding the locals for information, picking up all sorts of secrets. He wants to know why people do the things they do, and what motivates them. He does this so nobody has to suffer like he did, simply not knowing the reason. So everybody thinks this guy is bad. A blackmailer, a swindler. He might be right, but it's just how he grew up. He had no control. He had nobody to show him how to act. Nobody to care or love him. Until the rebellion took him in, of course. I'm sure you already guessed it, but that boy is me. All my actions, however bad, have had a reason. I want to keep going until I learn about my parents. Where are they now? Why did they throw me away? If they weren't proud of me, then would they be proud now? I hope you can understand. I really do. I'd do anything to learn where they are right now. I'd follow any order. I just want to see them face to face and finally learn the reason why. That's why I threw myself into this world of secrets and trickery. I thought that if I kept going, maybe one day I'd learn the truth. I guess we'll find out before this war is over. Right, Monarch?
Oh, geez, this is almost unbearable. Ulric, how do people even live in this heat? It's only been 10 minutes and I already feel like death.
You get used to it, trust me. Besides, a lot of the natives are draconic. Their bodies don't handle the mainland too well.
Oh, I think I read about that. Hopefully they can adapt just as fast as we can. We'll be marching into Balteus together, after all.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just make sure to have a drink on you at all times. In these deserts, dehydration is your greatest enemy.
Right.
Hello, Monarch.
Hey,
I was just about to ask Howl about Alarinthia. Surely it looks much different than it did back then. Legends dictate that it was once lush and full of green.
legends that lie.
Wait, really? But that can't be true. The destruction of the idol turned it into this desert. Without spiritual energy to nurture the land. Oh, wait.
Precisely. Alarinthia has always looked this way. This legend you speak of is simply a poorly conjured tale. We often create stories to understand what we cannot grasp. Correct. In our prison, we had no power. There is no logic behind these assumptions of yours. At least, no logic now that you know the truth of our kind.
Well, isn't that wonderful news? At least it narrows our focus a little bit more. I could tell that was a source of stress, Monarch.
We are happy that we could ease some pain, Monarch. The fear of losing your homeland? We can't even imagine. At least it remained only that, a fear. We were not so lucky.
Normally there'd be a lengthy immigration process, but due to the ball, this nation is open to everybody. It's a long trek, but we can head straight into the city. Look for Vivian, I presume. If we can't find her in time, then we'll head to the ball. But meeting her before then would be a huge advantage.
We agree with this course of action, Monarch. However, our knowledge of Alarinthia is not very deep. We'd suggest working closely with Ulric in this endeavor.
Hey there, Monarch. Welcome to my homeland. Forecast calls for excruciating heat and a chance of death. Just a chance, though. Let's hope it stays that way, right? Let me guess. You have a lot of questions. I'll try my best to answer, but make it quick. We're on a strict timer here. We can't fail. The ball starts in around 8 hours. Dinner time. If we don't move fast, we won't be able to make it. You know what's at stake, Monarch. Let's get going.